Hey again everyone, and welcome back to my first diecast review of 2021. We're going to kick things off by looking at this Greenlight 1/64 scale Hitch Tow series American Pickers set, which comes with the 2015 Ford Transit LWB high roof, the 1970 Chevrolet Malibu, and the flatbed trailer. Now this was actually a Christmas gift I got last year. However, it didn't arrive until almost the end of January, so I wasn't able to do a review on it till now. But better late than never, I guess. So looking at the box, we can see that this set is from Series 8 of the Hollywood Hitch Tow series, and going around to the back of the box shows the other sets that are available in Series 8. And I have seen the Counting Cars one, although I'm not interested in getting it just because I wasn't impressed with what was included. And that has been a bit of an issue of mine with the Greenlight Hitch Tow series since Series 2, because it seems like in a lot of cases Greenlight will just recolor or rebrand these sets, not always throwing in a new casting, which, I mean, it does have, its positives, but it does make me wonder, how popular these really are, because I've seen at diecast shows a lot of guys have vehicles or trailers out of these sets in their parts boxes for like $2. So it makes you wonder how popular some of the themes that they come up with really are. I'm going to go ahead and get the models out here, and just trying to carefully open the box so I don't damage the box or the contents, and should just lift right out of there. So a bit of plastic here. Gotta be careful because I noticed there's mirrors on this Transit. So there's that. There is the Chevelle. Quite impressed with the weathering on that. And lastly, the flatbed. And I believe I gotta remove some tape to get these ramps and the jack out. Just before I get these models on the turntable, I noticed a couple issues taking them out of the box. And starting with the Transit here, there is like rub marks on this, and it was really dirty for whatever reason. And also the interior, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the interior of the van is leaning more towards the driver's side, so I'd say that wasn't installed correctly. The Chevelle doesn't seem to have any issues other than under the hood there's a blob of paint in that corner there for whatever reason. No idea what that's about. It's definitely not like a engine detail or something that's been painted. It's just a blob of paint. And the trailer, for those that don't know, if you get this, you have to clip the ramps in and screw the jack into the hitch. But in my case, I cannot get the jack to screw in here, and it is honestly to the point where it gets tight to where I'm afraid I'm going to snap the thing off. So, yeah, and that's only one problem here, because if you go underneath the trailer, you can see that the wheels were not installed that well. And I mean, I hate to sound harsh, but there's clearly an issue with quality control on Greenlight's part, because, all three of these pieces have problems right out of the box. Alright, I got the Transit cleaned up and on the turntable, and there's not a lot of detail on this van, but I am impressed with the side view mirrors. There is detail in the interior, although it's only on the front portion of the van. And of course, this has the tow hitch on the back, which, despite being fragile, I do like how these look. It's also got the Ford badges, and you can just see on the back door it says Transit. But other than that, really not anything else to say in regards to the detail. I do notice some paint imperfections on this. Just right here, you can see there's a speck of dirt, and I've noticed that across other parts of this van. And I will say that I'm not impressed with the windshield. I tried to clean it up best I can, and it just didn't improve things. And I guess what bothers me the most about this is that Greenlight did not put the Antique Archaeology logos on this, which originally I thought maybe it had to do with licensing, but they've got the American Pickers stuff on the packaging, so I don't see where it would have been so hard to add a simple decal to this van, because as it is, there's nothing that really connects this to the set. And I don't know, it just seems like laziness on Greenlight's part, and I feel like it leaves a lot to be desired here. Now here's the 1970 Chevelle, and I was impressed with this thing since I saw it, mainly to do with the weathering on it, because it's got these patches of rust all over, plus you've got this sort of dusty look it has, like it's been sitting in a barn or shed for the last 30 years, and I can see the connection this would have with antique archaeology. This is something Mike and Frank would want to pick up and try to find somebody that would preserve this. And there's sometimes, and this is a perfect case, where rust just makes something look much more eye-catching. And it reminds me a lot of the M2 Machines auto projects, and I got quite a few of those in my collection. And this car, I would honestly put this in an old barn or a shed on one of my 1/64 scale displays. And, you know, I think it would even fit a junkyard environment. But this is definitely something that, you know, looks just like an old barn find. And the last piece is this flatbed trailer. Now, I'm not going to lie, if there was ever a time I just wanted to chuck a 1/64 scale item in the trash, it would be now, because the quality is not there in this piece. And like I mentioned before, the wheels and axles were not put on correctly. They're either crooked, straight, whatever you want to call it, and because the wheels are on crooked or what have you, it leaves the axles being longer, and therefore the wheels stick out beyond the fenders. And the only way to really fix this is to go in, take the wheels and axles off, tear them completely apart, and put them back on again correctly. But also, I did manage to get the jack in on the front of the trailer here, although it's still not perfect. I drilled the hole out a little bit. It's still tight. The jack still doesn't run smoothly. And in addition to the two problems I mentioned, I also noticed that the deck on the trailer has a bit of a twist to it, and there's even plastic flashing on it. So it's like, you know, where was quality control? All right, so what I've done is I've got out the other Greenlight flatbed from my collection, and I got this right when they started their Hitch Tow series, but you can see overall the quality looks pretty good. That's what made me purchase this. But the jack on it works just as it should. It's loose, it's not catching on anything, it runs very smoothly. The wheels are done correctly as well. They're not crooked or sideways, and there's no excessive play in the axles. And the wood deck is seated correctly as well. It's not bent, it's not warped, it's not sticking out in places. And nowhere on this trailer is there any flashing. So yeah, it was a really quality product. But what we have here now is something of very poor quality. And I know for a fact that Greenlight is trying hard to compete with all these other 1/64 scale die-cast manufacturers out there. I've seen it through the amount of product they produce. I've seen it through the prices they are charging. And I can tell you right now, the only thing this trailer has going for it is the way the deck looks is a lot better than what preceded it. But Greenlight, I can tell you, if you're going to continue to produce items that are this poor quality, it's game over for your company. Another comparison I wanted to do was the Ford Transit next to my custom Mercedes Sprinter that I built back in, I think, 2014. And I customized this to look like the older antique archaeology van, and I actually started with another Greenlight vehicle here as well. But I mean, it's not perfect. I've come a long way with my customizing since I built this, but I did add the antique archaeology decals. These are just laminated stickers because I didn't get into water slides at this time. But you can see that just adding those decals turns this into something that would be fitting for a set like this, because there is some sort of indication that this is related to American pickers. And I honestly feel like that's something that this Ford Transit needed in this set. And once I get some more water slides here, I am going to go ahead and add the decals to this Transit. So here's the set all together, and while this may look impressive, I personally was not impressed with it. But to be fair, the Transit looks pretty good, and I'd say the Chevelle looks good as well. But the quality of the trailer, or more like lack of, is what really irritates me. And I can't exactly say that I would recommend this set just because I feel like it's lacking in many areas. The most annoying would be the fact that as it sits right now, there's nothing that really shows that this is an American Pickers themed set and not just a Ford Transit with a trailer. Because the only American Pickers branding that's present is on the box, which, let's be honest, many people probably chuck this in the bin right after they get the model out. And I said it before, if Greenlight had added a simple antique archaeology decal to this Transit, it would have made this set into an American Pickers themed set. But my guess is that little detail was omitted due to being a cost saving factor, but in the end, this set suffered because of it. And if you want one of these to get a Ford Transit and decal it like I'm going to do, I would highly recommend just going out and buying the Transit separately, because Greenlight does produce it and it's about half the cost of this set. I'd say unless you're really after that Chevelle, there's really no reason to purchase this. But anyways, that's going to be it for this review. Let me know your thoughts on this set down in the comments below. Also, feel free to tell me your thoughts on the Hitch Tow series and just Greenlight diecast in general. But that's going to be it for now. I'll catch you guys on the next video.